me and Dean back with another video today. I'm going to bring you my latest installment in the Various Varietals series. We are talking about Chardonnay today. Now hang on, ABC crowd, don't touch that dial. We're going to find something for you too. But before we start, I got 4 words for you. Get your popcorn ready. Is that enough time? Got your popcorn ready? Yeah, well, it's movie day and popcorn day and Chardonnay day. So we're gonna have probably more Chardonnay than this. This is probably not all of them. This is a pretty good selection of wines from all over the world. We got Australia, we got Chile, we got a few from the United States. We got Washington State, we got a Willamette Valley. We've got New Zealand. There's a biggie from France over here. That's South Africa. California, we got, I think there's one from BC up here, but a little bit more than that. Australia, we're well represented. Got some cheapies here, got some less cheapies here. I got some not at all cheapies here. Yeah, we're gonna bring you some oak Chardonnay, some unoaked Chardonnay. We're gonna bring you the whole 9 yards. So we're starting out today for no particular reason. In the United States, right here, J. Lower, 2021. Arroyo Seco Monterey Chardonnay. Arroyo Seco is the sub-AVA in Monterey County. It's a cool climate region that is well regarded by critics and not that well known by consumers for the most part, which is always a good thing because you can quite often get some good deals there. This was, I believe, $24 before tax at the BC liquor store, something like that, 23, 24. It is oaked. I don't know. I didn't look into the details of how oaked it is. But we're going to see in a minute. Arroyo Seco is well, literally translates to dry creek, and it's separated by the Arroyo Seco River, which goes down the middle of the AVA, and it's a cool, very cool climate, cool and windy, and they will grow all the cool climate varietals, but Chardonnay is 2/3 of what they grow there. I think second was Pinot Noir, Sauv Blanc, Riesling, I think. If you happen to see my video a while back when I drank a J. Lower Valdiguet, that's the name of the grape, that's from there too. Like 2% of the grapes they grow in Arroyo Seco is Valdiguet. Valdiguet, I don't know how to pronounce it. A bizarre French varietal. Anyway, let's start with Chardonnay number 1. Wow, as I look at the screen at the other Chardonnays, this is kind of intimidating. I'm gonna drink a lot today. Let's see how this one goes. Okay, pineapple coconut right off the bat. And there's just enough now there to tell me this is oak without even, if I didn't know it. And mind you, I don't know it for a fact. I don't think it mentions oak on the back of the bottle. And I didn't really look into too much of this. I feel like I've had this wine before, but not this vintage. I'm trying to present wines that I haven't tasted or scored before. There will be some exceptions for sure, I think. But most of these wines are new to me. I think I may have had this one when I tasted it at WineFest, but most of them I think I never had before. So, well, I had this one for sure. I'm not sure if I ever scored it though. Okay, so let's see. So, yeah, this is it's a very classic California Chardonnay right off the bat. Pineapple. Oh, it's tropical fruit all day. Banana. Like really ripe guava. I don't eat guava. How the hell do I know what really ripe guava smells like? Sometimes it just comes to me. I'm not really sure where it comes from. Anyway. Yeah, okay. Very classic. What do you this would be, I think, an easy wine taste for anybody that's ever had California Chardonnay. Let's taste it. Quince, gooseberry, pineapple. Really fruity up front. Almost of a viscosity on the mid palate that kind of coats the back of your throat as it starts to go down a little bit. Alcohol is medium. I wonder what the alcohol is. Gotta be under somewhere, doesn't it? 14%. Oh wow, that's higher than I thought. I would have thought it said at 13.5 at most. coconut there now too. Sidley's medium. Yeah, it's nice wine. You know, it's not. It's told it tastes or smells like a very classic California Chardonnay, and it tastes like one too, which is not a bad thing. I like California Chardonnay. It's not a buttered bomb by any means. Definitely oak, but there's not a whole lot of caramel or butterscotch really there. There is some vanilla, but it's subtle. That's a good wine at a good price. I'd recommend that one. I would give that one. It's not revolutionary, right? Like it's nothing. There's nothing here that you haven't had before if you like Chardonnay. And if you're one of those ABC crowd who's stuck with me this long, this wouldn't be the one I would immediately go to. Because the chances are, if you're in the ABC crowd, you're there because you don't like the oaked Chardonnays that kind of became the thing in the 90s, right? Actually, I should get one of those too. Yeah, I'll try to find a huge fruit or a huge oak bomb, and I'll add that to the tasting as well. Because I don't think there's any here that are disgustingly oaked. I'm not sure about that, but I don't think there's any here that are. I don't think there's any here that the ABC crowd would be offended by. But this might be the most oaked of all of them. So this would not be the one to start with if you're in the ABC crowd. For the rest of you though, it's a good wine. You get that 88 points for 25 bucks for California Chardonnay. You're not going to do much better than that, I don't think. It's very nice. I'm going to thoroughly enjoy drinking this throughout the rest of the day. I'm watching my movies and eating my popcorn. All right, let's see what's up next. Okay, for the next bottle in our Chardonnay tasting, we're going to Burgundy. We're going to where the big boys play. I called this a big boy earlier. This is, as Burgundy goes, there's nothing big about this wine. This is basically one step up from the entry-level stuff. You'll see at the BC liquor store that just says Burgundy on it. Then it even says Chardonnay underneath it, and that's usually a bad sign. So this is a 2018 Joseph Durin from Macon Village. So the village level. So you know, as you go up in the scale, you get into the village level, and you get into the single vineyards and all. You know, this is a long way from that. This is only about 40 bucks when I bought it. I don't know. I probably only had it for a couple of years. 2018, so it'll be showing some age, but I don't know that a wine at this level ages all that well for a long term. I don't know. Anyway, since it's Burgundy, I upgraded my glassware a little bit. We'll just see if this is interesting. Tropical fruit for sure. Really muted nose. Like medium minus intensity of aromas. I'm just gonna keep swirling until I get something. Swirl, swirl, swirl. It'll come eventually, right? 45-minute video later. Yeah, there's a little bit. It's a little bit of pineapple, a little bit of guava. I wonder how oak this is, if I can tell from looking at it. Oh, interesting one. It's getting there. It's getting there. I just opened this and poured this. It's basically a pop and pour. All right, well, let's taste it. See if it tastes better than it smells, right? No, tastes about the same as it smells. Really light. Really, well, certainly. See, Burgundy, right? I could do 35 videos on Burgundy. Don't get me wrong, I love Burgundy. I just can't afford Burgundy. Good Burgundy. Nobody can at this point. These bottles, they've priced themselves way out of the market. You know, if you go to one of the wine review sites, and I know lots of people don't like wine reviews. I understand that, no problem. But go to wine.com and look at the reviews. Find a Chardonnay from, I don't know, Chile, South Africa, Argentina, one of the lesser known countries. Find one that gets 92-ish points, and it'll probably be $20 US from wine.com, maybe 23. And then find a Burgundy that gets 92 points. And it'll ask you to mortgage your house. I know Burgundy. There's a expectation that the wine's going to age forever. I get it, and grow as they age. I've had 12 or 13-year-old white Burgundy. I don't think I've had any older than that. And it's a thing. Whereas I wouldn't necessarily want to age a South African Chardonnay 20 years, and Burgundy, that's just a baby for the big stuff there, right? So I get it, but it's so overpriced as per the QPR, a lot of it, that it just makes me want to not even go there. I don't know how many Burgundy I have in my collection. I have 1,000 bottles in my collection-ish. I don't know how many Burgundy there are. 5 maybe. Well, probably 4 now. Got a couple of Pinots in there that I'm looking forward to, but you can just get better wine for way less money, usually. Anyway, let's see. Okay, a little bit of lemon curd, a little bit of like a yellow apple. Medium finish. I mean, it's compare this to the $25 J. Lohr. That was better. Yeah, I know. It's certainly not a bad bottle of wine. It's certainly not spoiled, but it's nothing to get excited about. So I would give this 83 points for a $40 Macon Village. That is pretty disappointing, no question about it. Anyway, that's where we are. Let's see what's next. Okay, up next on our Chardonnay tour, we're going to go down under to Australia. 2017 Drover's Hut Chardonnay from Nugent Estate Winery from the Riverina appellation in Australia. If you guys have been watching these videos for any time at all, and we've talked about Chardonnay, I always said how much we like the big butter bombs. Although we like all Chardonnays if it's well made, but we don't mind the big butter bombs. Our tastes are changing a little bit. I think they're getting more, well, I guess more across the board. We like it, all good Chardonnay. So this one sees minimal oak, and the oak it does see is all second and third use. So it sees no new French oak and no malolactic fermentation. So right off the bat, even though I just told you that, you're going to say, well, it's going to be a fruity Chard, not buttery and oaky at all. And yet, I've had this wine before. I don't think I reviewed it, but it always smells buttery and oaky to me a little bit. A lot of fruit there too, but it always smells higher alcohol too, and I don't think it really is. So I can see the price tag, $26.99. I bought this at Liberty Wines, I think, on Granville Island. What's the alcohol here? 13.5. So I think it's funny. The J. Lohr I thought had higher alcohol than I thought. This one I think is lower than I thought it would be. It smells. First thing I get is alcohol, and then oak, and it doesn't see that much oak. It's funny, right? And tree fruit and what is that? What is that smell? Like really underripe banana, maybe? Like before it gets that real intense nose and intense smell. Yellow apple. Green grapes. Okay, let's see how it tastes. So So it definitely smells more oaked than it tastes. Very fresh and fruity. Tropical fruit and acidity is medium plus. Really gets to the sides and the back of my throat here. Quince. Passion fruit, papaya, ever a slight hint of mango there, so it's very tropical. There's also some I was gonna say like tangerine, like some citrus, but not in your face lemon or lime necessarily. But there's some citrus notes there, like maybe a tangerine or even maybe like a pomelo. Pomelo's that's the one that's half grapefruit, half orange, I think, right? Or something like that. Anyway, it's a lovely wine. Yeah, and there's, you know, on my second sip, there's a little bit of like vanilla characteristic there. It's subtle, it's there. Not a lot of baking spice that you expect from a Chardonnay that's been oaked. I don't know if it tells me how long it's been oaked. So it's fermented in stainless steel tanks. After the initial fermentation, the yeast in contact with the juice for 6 to 8 months, stirring monthly. So that has to do with the creaminess of the wine. No malolactic, I knew that already. Wood treatment's minimal, and it's all second and third use barrels. So it doesn't say specifically how long it's in those second and third use barrels. So if you happen to not know what that means, I should explain that in case you don't know what that means. You know, when you buy a barrel, it's very oaky. A new French oak barrel, any new oak barrel, will impart a lot of flavor to the wine. Stay with French oak for now. You'll get a lot of certain characteristics, a lot of bacon, spices, and vanilla in that. And if you get like an American oak barrel, same thing, very intense, but coconut and dill and some other flavors. And as you use them over and over, of course, those flavors dissipate. They get a little lower. So a second and third use barrel, they're not going to impart nothing on the wine, which is why I'm getting some oaky characteristics here, but they don't impart nearly as much as new barrels. So we were at Opus One in Napa a decade or so ago, and they only use new French oak barrels. They use them once and then they sell them for their flagship wine. They might use some of them for the secondary wine, I don't remember. But you walk into that barrel room, and basically the smell of oak makes you pass out. And then when you get back up, if you've ever been in any barrel room, like they always smell good. There's nothing that smells better than an entire room full of new French oak barrels. It is, I was gonna say intoxicating. That sounds too small. It is an insane. It's worth the price of admission just for that. Forget about the wine. I don't remember what we paid for our tour back then, but it was expensive at the time. It was probably paid $175 a person. And you got, what do you get? Three. I think we got three tastes of different Opus Ones, plus their secondary wine, Overture, I think it's called, and it was one of their wine too. I think we had to taste 5 wines for that $175. But the tour of the grounds and the tour of the barrel room was worth all that money. It's one of my favorite memories of our Napa trip, and we need to go back there because it was incredible. Anyway, they don't make Chardonnay, so let's get back to the Chardonnay. This is for a Chardonnay that doesn't see much oak. And it's made in a style it's supposed to be crisp, it's supposed to be clean, no malolactic fermentation, so it's not going to pick up those huge buttery notes, but it picks up a little bit of creaminess from the time it stands on the lees. This is really a lovely wine for, what did I say, $27? $26.99. I bought this fairly recently, so that's probably the current price. I give this 89 points. This is my favorite Chardonnay the tasting so far. There will be better ones, I suspect, But again, at 27 bucks, this is lovely. And especially for the ABC crowd out there that doesn't like the butter bombs. For 27 bucks, you could do a lot worse than that. There are some other wines coming up from this tasting that are completely unoaked. For now, that's it for this one. I'm gonna go drink this one, and let's see what up number 4. Okay, up next, we're back to the United States for one that I'm very intrigued by. I just bought this a week ago, and it is from Washington State, Columbia Valley. That's not the intriguing part. The intriguing part mostly is that it was under 30 bucks, and it's from 2014. I don't know how often you're going to find a 9-year-old American Chardonnay sitting on a store shelf, and this is just some random liquor store here in Chilliwack. They had a few of them, I don't know, but I mean, you know, I just don't know where this wine has been. So I talked to them beforehand, and I said, you know, if this is oxidized, corked, I'm going to bring it back, right? And at first they said no. And I'm like, you know, God bless the liquor store staff who are liquor store people, not wine people, right? Although they have a pretty decent wine selection. It is a liquor store. And they eventually went and found the manager or owner who said, of course you can bring it back. And they wrote it on the back of the receipt. But my first smell tells me it's probably not spoiled. So, you know, again, I think it was $26, $27 before tax. Where has this wine been, do you think? This is not one they're going to age in bottle for 8 years, right? You wouldn't think. 7 Fall Cellars 2014 Chardonnay from the Waluke Slope. One of the warmest and driest climates in Washington State, the terroir in this historical region is perfect for creating big, bold wines with outstanding structure. Well, I'll be the judge of that wine. Let's see. Smells lovely. Smells like a very common, a very typical Chardonnay from the West Coast. I don't know how many Chardonnay I've had from Washington State. Some, for sure. But of course, the Willamette Valley in Oregon is more well known for Chardonnay, and of course, then there's California. This is better to this. There's a little bit caramel, there's some pineapple there. There's a very common smell. I can't really identify what it is. I got it again. It's something. Oh, there's some toasted almonds there, but that's not what I'm smelling. There's something else that's very. I'm not sure it's really a wine smell. All right, maybe it'll come back to me. Okay, let's taste it. Let's see what it's like. Well, I'll tell you, I wouldn't confuse that with a great wine, but it certainly doesn't taste 9 years old. It's certainly showing beautifully. It's, I don't know if you can see the color, it looks like it's a brand new wine. It's not, there's no bricking, it's not turning dark color at all. It's beautiful golden color. It smells fresh, it tastes fresh and vibrant. I don't know where this wine has been for 9 years. I just, you know, I mean, these wines, they have to get transported a few times. They obviously never saw any extreme heat, and they certainly haven't been sitting on this liquor store shelf for 9 years, because it hasn't been there 9 years. Well, they actually moved from one location to another, so they had been around that long, but I had been in that store before. This was never there. When they moved locations, they upped their wine game and got some interesting things. They've got like $110 white wine from Priorat in Spain, which I'm incredibly intrigued by. Maybe I have to go partake in one of those. They also have, they had some Checkmate from Chardonnay. Checkmate from, wow, am I drunk already? I've had 2 sips. They had some Chardonnay from Checkmate. They also had, I think the most expensive table wine they had in the place is a Mission Hill Oculus, which is going for $2 now, eh? I'm not a Mission Hill guy, as you probably know by watching this channel, but the Oculus, and we've had 3 or 4 of them over our lives. It is a spectacular wine. It's worth $200. I'm not going there, but it really is good stuff. So okay, back to this. There's vegetable quality there. It's green. There's some pineapple, some papaya. There's some nuttiness. There is, well, see, there's a smell as well. A smell and a taste that I'm just not identifying really well today. It's a nice wine. Nothing wrong with this. And, you know, again, where has this wine been for 9 years? Let's go. It's kind of not what I was hoping for. I was hoping one of 2 things. Either it would be terribly bad, and then I'd go take it back and I'd use the $30 towards that Priorat. It'd be my excuse for buying the $110 white wine. Or it would be great, and I'd be so good I'd want to go back and get a couple more. It's neither of those. It's definitely, I mean, there's absolutely nothing wrong with this wine. It is not showing age at all. It is really high in alcohol. It's 14.5%, and it's a little hot still, but just a little. Yeah, it's not distracting. It's not something that's going to bother you. But you know it's there. Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's a well-made wine. It is. The more of it I drink, I think the more of the alcohol I'm noticing. Finish is medium. So, would I buy another bottle of this? No. But I'm glad I bought one. I'm glad it's good enough that I got to taste the wine, and it wasn't immediately corked or oxidized at that. Waluke Slope, inspired by a series of 7 waterfalls that once flowed along the Columbia River through what is now known as the Waluke Slope. All right, so 9 years, eh? Fascinating. Anyway, so for this wine and my score on it, I would give this one more sip here. One more sip. I would give this 86 points. It is well-made wine. It's different. I'd say unique in that I don't know how often you can just walk into a liquor store and get a 9-year-old Chardonnay that's perfectly good for $30. I don't love it, but I like it enough to drink it, and that's something. And we're having roast chicken tonight, so it's probably gonna be a pretty nice pairing with the roast chicken. So there we go. 2014 Chardonnay from Seven Falls Cellars in the Columbia Valley, Washington. Interesting. Okay, what's up next? Okay, next up, and I've actually decided this will be the last one for this video. I'm going to do a few of these, at least 2, but I don't want this to be an hour-and-a-half video because nobody wants to watch me do anything for an hour-and-a-half, believe me. Not even me. So, we're down in New Zealand now. 2018 Muddy Water Chardonnay from the Waipara Valley in New Zealand. New Zealand, probably an underrated wine country. Not that well known by a lot of people except for the Sauvignon Blanc. But it makes some amazing Pinot Noir, especially out of the central Otago region. And generally, if you can make great Pinot Noir, you can make great Chardonnay. So Waipara Valley, Waipara actually means muddy water. Hence the name of this Chardonnay, which I picked up at BC liquor store for $40 in this month, or maybe sometime in March, I think, not that long ago. So, okay, let's see. Really fresh, vibrant tropical fruit on the nose. A little bit of lemon curd. I say it. It's very mineralic-y. a lot of minerality there, and it actually says on the back here, our Chardonnay grows on ungrafted vines on calcareous clay soils on our 14-hectare vineyard, bottled on site without fining. And I can smell the clay. It actually made me look at the back of the bottle. Really high in the minerality here. Let's see if it tastes as good as it smells. It smells pretty good. Oh, that is nice. That is it's different. It's I have to look up the oak here because one of my maybe it reminds me a little bit of Chablis. It was lightly oaked. I'm not getting any characteristics on the nose or the palate of oak or butterscotch or anything like that, and yet it's also not exceptionally fruit forward to the point of where you know that's a totally unoaked Chardonnay. There's just a hint of like toasted almonds on the palate to go with. It's like Granny Smith, no, sorry, not Granny Smith, like a Red Delicious apple. And guava and like almost a tiny hint of a marshmallow characteristics maybe. That's a nice wine, but it's very different than every other Chardonnay I've presented to you so far in this video, and probably different than the other ones I'll present later too. Wow, that is interesting. So, medium plus finish. Yeah, medium plus finish. Viscosities medium plus, acidities medium plus. That's a good one. I'm going to enjoy drinking this the rest of the evening. I give that 92 points. I like that quite a bit. And this would be a one for you ABC crowd out there. If anybody in the ABC crowd is still watching this video, you might enjoy this one because it is not buttery to any great extent. In fact, there's probably, I don't know if I'm getting any hint of butter or oak or vanilla on the palate. And it's also not, $200 like a top Chablis would be. So, boy, that's good. Yeah. That's a winner. I'm gonna get another one of those. I think go back and get a couple more. Okay, so that's it for video 1 of the Chardonnay series. I have so much more to show you, as you remember from the very beginning of the episode. But like I said, I don't want this to be a 2-hour video. So that'll be good for now. So you can stay tuned for part 2. I also have, you might notice behind me, there's a couple of BC Rosés sitting back there. Though that is the new ones. The 2022 Rosés are hitting. I've got 4 or 5 of them already. So my BC Rosé video, episode 1, will come pretty soon. And I got 2 or 3 other things that I've started already, which I'm looking forward to. I'm going to do, for the first time ever, I'm going to do a review of dessert wines. I'm very excited about that because I've got quite a few of them here. If you've been watching my videos or reading my blog, you know I love my ice wine. And I got some ice wine, let me tell you. Okay, so that's it for now. So, for those of you that are professional wrestling fans, enjoy WrestleMania weekend. We're going to. And for the rest of you, great wine. See you soon.